I'm just going to be honest. It kind of sounds like the subject of maybe a joke, but it is a real question men and women may have when they are expecting a baby.
Can we have sex during the pregnancy? Well, our pregnancy expert, Judith Schuler, has the answer for us. Judy, I adore you. One thing I love about you is that you really aren't, worried about offending anybody. You know what the topics are that people need to hear about, and you're unembarrassed completely. And I think that's important.
This is one of the most common questions that we hear during pregnancy. And guess who asks it?
The men.
The dad to be.
That's what I
They want to know. This is a question. I say that for every single couple, this is something to discuss at a prenatal appointment.
Okay.
But it is a question that most men, so the man should go to the prenatal appointment and discuss it. But there are quite a few things that are okay with it. If you have a normal pregnancy, sex is usually all right, but this has to be determined by your physician. So that's why it's a question.
So there's no blanket answer for this?
There is no blanket answer. But a normal low-risk pregnancy, it's usually okay.
So what is it that would maybe cause us for it not to be okay?
Well, one of the things that we have a precaution for all pregnant women, after 16 weeks, you do not want to lie flat on your back.
Okay.
That's for anything, not just for sex, but for sleeping or resting or anything that you do. Don't lie flat on your back, because that can reduce the circulation to the baby, because the baby presses on very important blood vessels behind the uterus. And so you don't want to reduce any of the oxygen or nutrients the baby's getting. So that's the main thing, the main caution we have for every single pregnant couple. That
16 weeks.
16 weeks for anything. Exercising or whatever.
And I think it's important we're talking about the baby and the protecting the baby. So if our physician has deemed that it is a healthy pregnancy, is the baby okay in there?
Yeah, the baby is so well protected. Let me tell you, the baby is inside amniotic fluid, which is inside the amniotic sac, which is inside the uterus, which is a very heavy, strong muscle, because that's what contracts to give birth to the baby. And then that baby and everything else is inside of you. So yeah, the baby is very well protected, and so sex will not harm the baby.
Well, and no joke, I've heard comedians use this almost like a punchline or something to their jokes, and we're kind of giggling a little bit, but it really is a question that you should be having a conversation with your doctor. You and your husband, should be having this conversation as well, and then knowing, to follow whatever your doctor is giving you.
That's right. You need to realize that every single pregnancy, as we have said many times, is unique. And there may be some reasons that, your doctor would say to you, I would recommend not having sex. The thing is, when you do have sex, things can change. First of all, if you can't lie on your back after 16 weeks, you may have to use your imagination to come up with some different kinds of positions. Yeah. Also, the idea of, being intimate doesn't mean just sex. You can do all sorts of things. You can cuddle, you can do massages, you can talk about sex, you can bathe together. There are a lot of things that you can do. One of the things that's really important is the man must realize that his expectations for sex may change during pregnancy. Women sometimes have greater sexual desire, sometimes they have less. So his expectations may need to change. And, it's the idea of working together as a couple. So that's super important.
Well, and we were talking about myths before we started the segment, and one that I've heard that I'm pretty sure I've heard from a man is that that it actually can have health benefits to have sex while pregnant. Is that completely made up?
Well,
of course you said a man told me that.
Yeah, I haven't really heard too much about health benefits, but it's good for your relation. If you have a relationship and, let's look at it. For almost all pregnancies this is how you got here.
True.
Right.
I mean, it was sex, and sex is a normal part of your couple relationship, and it's something that should be considered. Now, there are times that we say absolutely do not have sex,
Yeah.
and those are things like if you have placenta previa or a low-lying placenta, which could be cause for problems, or if you have an incompetent cervix, or if your water has broken or you believe labor has begun.
It's probably not a good time.
It's not a good time. No, we would advise you to avoid sex at that time.
Judy, this is why we have you on, because you take those subjects and we're tackling them here on the show, so nobody has to giggle and be embarrassed. We're just getting it out there.
It's just part of a normal, healthy pregnancy.
It is, and that's why we have you.
Love
here.
it.
Well,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Judy, so much. And if you want to even learn more about your pregnancy and Judith's series of books, you can go online to yourpregnancybook.com.